We have some really good cards moving down in price this week. Stay tuned to see where you can find some deals. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Outlaws of Thunder Junction or find a vast number of great products on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, plus you no longer need any promo codes on their website. The savings is built right into the prices that you see on the site. Same great prices, same great products, and same great service without the extra step. Find their link in the description below. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where today we're going to look at the top 10 coldest Magic cards of the week. As always, our list is based on the percentage decrease in the value of the cards, as well as the decrease in the number of sales that we see from week to week. One quick note too, we're not going to talk about Fallout cards in particular today because they just came out. We don't have a baseline yet. Overall, as product gets out there, you're going to see a lot of them dropping in price this week. But next week, anything that applies, we will start working into these videos. Quickly before we get to the list though, just a couple of things. First off, I want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons. That is Drave. Drave, thank you for all your support. Drave's been a patron for quite some time. And like I always say, I really couldn't do this without support from viewers like yourself. So thank you, Drave. I do appreciate all the support, all the help you've given the channel. One other quick thing before we get started. Of course, this video is sponsored by FlipsideGaming.com. Check out their website. Right now you can pre-order Outlaws of Thunder Junction or pick up any number of other great MTG products or other things as well. Remember, if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And you no longer have to use a promo code when you go to the site. They did remove the promo code functionality. So the good news is the savings is already built into the prices you see on the screen. So you get the same great prices, same great products, same great service, just without that extra step. You can find their link down below. But now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Number 10 is Watley, Warrior Poet. This goes down $1.06 to $6.57. That is a 14% decrease. So this card was heating up back when Lost Caverns of Ixalan was coming out, since a lot of Commander players were interested in playing builds around dinosaurs. Today this card is still used in a few decks, including Gishath's Son's Avatar, but the dino craze has died down as players move on to other strategies, so this price comes down. Number 9 is Unexplained Absence. This goes down $1.10 to $3.88. That is a 22% decrease. This is from the Murders at Karlov Manor Deadly Disguise Commander deck, and after some initial excitement around this card from Commander players, the hype has died down. It still sees play in builds around the front-facing Commander from Deadly Disguise, that's Kaust Eyes of the Glade, and occasionally you see it in another build, like Voja Jaws of the Conclave, for example. That's one of the Karlov pre-release cards, but Unexplained Absence is seeing far less play now than it was a few weeks ago. Combine that with the fact that the product now has been in circulation for a little bit, plenty of copies are out there and available, so Unexplained Absence retracts this week. Number 8 is Wolfgar of Icewind Dale. This goes down $1.14 to $4.85. That's a 19% decrease. This is from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Draconic Rage Commander deck. In the past, this card has seen a little Commander play, usually in builds like Agnes the Dragon Slash, for example. Recently though, this started showing up in Commander decks around a couple cards from Murders at Karlov Manor. Voja Jaws of the Conclave again, and to a lesser degree, Anzrag the Quake-Mole, which is from the main set. I will tell you though, cards that could play well in an Anzrag build were perhaps overly spec'd on prior to its release. Now don't get me wrong, the Anzrag decks are seeing a fair amount of Commander play, but some other new cards have stolen its thunder, like Voja. Wolfgar has been climbing recently, but now it is retracting to find its proper price point. Number 7 is Laser Screwdriver, down $1.40 to $2.10. That's a 40% decrease, and this is from the Doctor Who Commander deck Masters of Evil. You may remember that this was one of our top 10 hot list cards last week. It has been moving up thanks to Murders at Karlov Manor. Some Commander players were picking this up to upgrade a couple of the Karlov Commander decks, Relevant Recon, and to a lesser degree Blame Game. Some were also putting this in fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from those products, Mirko Obsessive Theorist, and Nelly Borka Impulsive Accuser respectively. But how many times have we seen this? A card spikes, more copies enter the marketplace as sellers try to take advantage of the spike, and then it moves down some. That's exactly what you're seeing this week with Laser Screwdriver. Number 6, Cyber Drive Awakener, down $1.42 to $9.90. That's a 13% decrease. This is from the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander deck Buckle Up, and it has been a popular Commander card since it came out. Usually you see it in builds around another card from Buckle Up, Shorikai Genesis Engine. Prior to the release of Murders at Karlov Manor though, there was more interest in this card because of all the new ways to make clue tokens that came with that set. And of course those card previews caused this to spike. Commander players did grab this to upgrade one of the Karlov Commander decks when it came out, Deep Clue C. Others put in fresh builds around a card from there, Morska Undersea Sleuth. Now I am even seeing some Commander players putting this in builds around Piper Wright Public Reporter from the Mutant Menace Fallout Commander deck. Additionally, you may remember that a few weeks back there was a Legacy Sultai Lone control deck that ran a copy of Cyberdrive Awakener. It was seeing some success on MTGO, but I haven't seen much of it in the last couple weeks. Between the Commander players getting the copies they needed and the fall off in Legacy demand, Cyberdrive Awakener dropped some this week, but the price is still higher than it was prior to the pre-Karlov Manor spike. Number 5 is Baloth Baratil Entertainer. This goes down $1.58 to $7.98. That is a 17% decrease. And this is the foil copy from the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate Draconic Descent Commander deck. It has been a fairly popular commander and used in the 99 of some builds, but recently there has been more demand on the card thanks again to Murders at Karlov Manor. Some players wanted this to upgrade the Blame Game Commander deck, or they wanted it for a fresh build around Nelly, Borka, Impulsive Accuser. Others put it in Aurelia the Law above builds from the main set, but the most popular deck to throw Baloth in currently is still Voja Jaws of the Conclave, of course. Now I'm even seeing some Commander players adding this to builds around Red Death Shipwrecker from the Fallout Science Commander deck with an exclamation point. Even with all the play Baloth has been seeing in the Commander format, it still retracts this week as it lowers into its correct price point after a pretty strong spike prior to the release of Murders at Karlov Manor. Number 4 is Weathered Sentinels, down $1.77 to $11.87. That is a 15% decrease. This is from the Streets of New Capenna Commander deck, Riveteer Rampage. Traditionally, this card has seen some Commander play, usually when it appears. It was in Arcades the Strategist builds, but recently, Murders at Karlov Manor brought us some synergy for the classic creatures with Defender can attack and deal damage based on their toughness strategy. We even got a new commander to build around for a card like Weathered Sentinels, and that was this card here, the Pride of Hull Clade. Beyond that, to a lesser degree, I have seen people putting Weathered Sentinels in builds around another Karlov card, and that is Massacre Girl Known Killer. Again though, we have a situation where a card is trying to find the right price point post-spike. Weathered Sentinels is still seeing more play, its price is still higher than pre-spike, but it is trending down this week. Number 3 is Anzrag the Quake-Mole. This goes down $2.23 to $10.27. That's an 18% decrease. Not too surprising, this newer card for Murders at Karlov Manor has been seeing some play. In Standard it appears in Naya Legends and Naya Counters. I have seen some trying this in Pioneer Gruul Aggro, and it really has been a fairly popular commander like we said earlier. Plus it shows up in the 99 of some builds too, like Niv Mizzet Guild Pact. That's another card from Karlov Manor. Having said that, there was a lot of hype for Anzrag as the set was being released, and even though it is seeing some success, the price is trending down as product gets into players' hands. Number 2 is Path of Peril. The Innistrad Crimson Vow copy goes down $2.59 to $6.50. That's a 28% decrease. The Innistrad Double Feature copy is down $3.37 to $15.50. That's an 18% decrease. Well, this was our number 1 hot card last week, but you know the old story. A card spikes, the next week the additional inventory that hits the marketplace leads to a drop. Why did this get hot? Because it has seen a lot of play in Standard, Pioneer, and a little play in Modern. In the latter, you find it in a few different builds like Skelementals, but Standard and Pioneer were the real key drivers. More so Pioneer, but we'll get to that. In Standard, it's in a ton of builds. The most popular is Golgari Midrange, where you typically see 3 copies of this in the sideboard. In Pioneer, it's all over the place too, including in Rakdos Vampires, which became a big part of the meta after Vein Ripper for Murders at Karlov Manor was introduced to the format. There you typically see 2 copies of this in the sideboard, and that was true of the build that won the Pro Tour recently, since Path to Exile is good against Abzan Amalia combo and other builds. Last week many players were trying to put together that Pro Tour winning deck. This week Path to Peril retracts a bit as it falls into its new price point. And finally, our number 1 coldest card this week is Clouth Unrivaled Ancient, down $6.96 to $36. That's a 16% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Draconic Rage Commander deck. It's a solid commander card and in the 99 of some builds like the Dragon and Miram Sentinel Worm, for example, but this is also a card found sometimes in Anzrag the Quake-Mole builds. Like we were discussing, the amount of play that type of deck is seeing is less than originally expected during the pre-release time period for Murders at Karlov Manor. Prior to the set coming out, Cloth spiked, like many cards that people were speccing on for Anzrag builds. This week though, we see Cloth dropping pretty heavily, but the price is still higher than pre-spike. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch and our top 10 cold cards of the week. Now, if you did not watch yesterday's video, go back and check that out. We looked at the top 10 hot cards, some interesting ones in there for sure. And again, later this week, probably Friday afternoon, we're going to do a gameplay stream. Be sure to join us for that. We had a great time last week. Went 7-0 with a Karlov draft deck. Thank you to everybody who's been joining me for the streams, and if you're interested, make sure you have your notifications on so you do know when we go live. Until next time, though, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.